Making a batch of cookies is always an expression of love, and I love my flourless almond butter thumbprint cookies. Now, this kind of recipe, while flourless, uses a conventional method. So I start by creaming butter and sugar together. In this case, I have half a cup of unsalted butter, and it's softened to room temperature, and I'll add 2 types of sugar. First, 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar, and then 1/3 of a cup of light brown sugar. And you know, it doesn't matter if it's a regular cookie dough or a flourless one. This step of creaming the butter and sugar together is a very important one. The friction of the sugar and the butter aerates the dough. That gives it structure so that the cookie holds together when it's baked, and also kind of snaps and melts away when you take a bite. There we go. Nice and smooth. Now I add 2 egg yolks. Now it's time for the almond butter. I'm using almond butter here, but you could use peanut butter if you'd like. I need half a cup of the almond butter. Now this is pure almond butter, so if you are using peanut butter, make sure you're using just the pure peanut butter. I'll add a touch of vanilla and stir this all in together. When you're making flourless cookies, you're looking for those ingredients or methods that replace the need for wheat flour. In this case, the structure from the almond butter accomplishes that. Now it's time for my dry ingredients that I'll combine in a separate bowl. Starting with 1 3/4 cups of ground almonds. The almonds give the cookies body and, of course, great flavor. Typical to a lot of flourless cookie recipes, you also need to add a starch just to give body and binding to the cookies. In this case, I use tapioca starch, 1/3 of a cup. I also need baking powder, 1 teaspoon, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'll just give this a little stir. I just want to make sure that the starch and the baking powder and salt are combined with the almonds before I add it to my almond butter mixture. There we go. Now that the ground almonds are blended in, it's time to scoop. This recipe makes 24 large thumbprint cookies. They do spread as they bake. So I use my ice cream scoop and just drop it straight onto the tray. And the finishing move for these cookies is to make the thumbprint. But I find with this size cookie, my thumb isn't big enough, so I actually use my knuckle. Go straight down the center of the cookie. And these cookies take no time to bake, just 12 minutes in a 350 oven. It is important with these cookies, though, that I cool them completely on the tray. They are fragile when they're warm. Ooh, these smell so good. Oh, here we go. Flattened out and just a little brown at the edges. And here they are, cooled on the baking tray. On occasion, I found that when these cookies bake up, occasionally the center where I put my thumbprint can bake up and fill in that space. So what I do is just take the back of a measuring spoon when they're hot from the oven and just gently press the center down. That way I have the perfect amount of space for my jam. Now, of course, you can use any flavor of jam you like. I'm going for a mix. I've got apricot for some of my cookies and raspberry for some of the others. Letting the cookies air dry for a little bit sets up the jam, and that way the cookies stay intact when you store them. Oh, what a gorgeous cookie. And you can see how well it holds together, although it is wonderfully tender.